Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, the honor to the apostles, the elders, salutations to you, sincere brothers teaching in truth and in sincerity. This lesson will be entitled, Is Brexit Prophecy? My source, google.com, and Brexit is defined as the withdrawal of the United Kingdom from the European Union following a June 2016 referendum in which 52% voted to leave. The UK government formally announced the country's withdrawal in March 2017, beginning the Brexit process. Okay, so it took 3 years for Great Britain to leave the EU. Now, Apostle Tahar asked a question. Was this prophecy? And the answer is yes. Daniel 2 and 1. And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians, and the astrologers, and the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans, for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. All right. If you continue to read, these warlocks were unable to break down this dream. Let's jump to verse 27. Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king. But there is a power in heaven that reveals secrets and make known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and the visions of thy head upon thy bed are these. Let's jump down to verse 31. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image head was of fine gold, representing what? The Babylonian Empire. His breast and his arms of silver. This represents the Media Persian Empire. His belly and his thighs of brass. This represents the Greek Empire. His legs of iron. This represents the Roman or the Rome Empire. His feet part of iron and part of clay. Okay? And within the system, you have the EU. Okay? Verse 34, thou sawest till that a stone which represents Yahushua. And according to scripture, Yahushua is classified as a tried stone as well as a cornerstone. And when you go into that term corner, it means a leader, okay, or the head. Was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. So if you fast forward to what we see now, okay, this system is based on the pagan Rome Empire being led by America, NATO, and the EU, okay, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. This is saying that when Yahushua returns, Okay, and this is classified as the second coming of Yahushua. He is going to destroy this current system, okay, which proves Revelation 19:16, and he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. All right. Verse 34, thou sawest till that stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Verse 35, then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain. Okay, going into the government of Israel, being led by Yahushua and 144,000, okay, of the nation of Israel, and fill the whole earth. So Yahushua's kingdom, okay, which is the kingdom of heaven, will control the entire earth. Verse 36, this is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Verse 37, thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the Most High of heaven have given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. Verse 38, and wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. Okay, and like I said before, that gold represents the Babylonian Empire. However, Nebuchadnezzar was an Assyrian. Okay, verse 39, and after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, going into the Media Persian Empire, and another third kingdom of brass, going into the Greek Empire, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, okay, representing the Roman Empire. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. Verse 41, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. Verse 42, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. All right, in a nutshell, verse 41 and verse 42 represents the EU, because you have strong nations within the EU, such as Germany and France, okay, and Great Britain was a part of that. However, Great Britain has left the EU, okay? So you have strong nations. Now you have weaker nations, and your weaker nations will be consisted of the pigs, Portugal, Ireland, Italy, Greece, and Spain. Okay, and like I said before, your stronger nations within the EU is Germany. If I didn't say that, it's Germany and France. All right, so when we look up another point, what does pigs mean? PIGS is an acronym for Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Greece, and Spain, which were the weakest economies, okay, in the Eurozone during the European debt crisis. And what classifies these as weak nations, okay, PIGS nations have been blamed for slowing the Eurozone's economic recovery following the 2008 financial crisis by contributing to slow GDP, okay, and that means gross domestic product, high unemployment, and high debt levels in the area. Okay, so this is the reason why when you go back to um, verse 42 and 43, and it talks about how you're going to have as the toes of the feet part of iron and part of clay. We're talking about strong nations in the EU and weaker nations in the EU. And this was the main reason why Great Britain wanted to leave, because Great Britain is considered as a strong nation regarding their economy. And when you actually do the research, just real quick, okay, and it states the UK is one of the three largest economies in the EU, going into Great Britain, and according to this article, which was published on March 2018, you know, Germany, United Kingdom, and France, okay, going back into Daniel 41 and 42, okay, so Brexit, okay, means that Great Britain has left the EU. All right. Verse 43, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Right, because basically you have other nations that live within the EU. Okay, like Hamites live there, Elamites live there, and Ishmaelites live there. Okay, so they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. So Brexit is prophetic. Okay. Also another point, Revelation 17:17, Salakia. Let's start at 16. And the 10 horns going into the EU, because initially the EU started off with 10 countries. However, Esau attempted to what? Offset prophecy. He added more countries. Okay. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast. Okay. And who is the beast? NATO and the EU. These shall hate the whore, America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Okay, and this is the result of what? Nuclear destruction. Verse 17, for the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, his purpose, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. So the reason why Brexit, okay, happened or occurred, because this is the Most High's will to break up the EU, okay, as well as for Great Britain to send missiles over here on America. So yes, Brexit is prophetic, okay, and you can use precepts within Daniel the 2nd chapter as well as Revelation the 17th chapter. Lord willing, you are edified. Shalom.